Welcome back to the fields of Perthshire in bonnie Scotland. So, we are on the carrot field, and that figure you can see in the distance is Albert. Just the two of us today, maybe get some more of the guys out at the weekend. And it is a glorious day. It's about 20 degrees centigrade at the moment, or Celsius, which is about 70 Fahrenheit. It is glorious, absolutely glorious. And we're back on the carrot field, which has been ploughed, been rolled, probably in an attempt to get the barley straw that was all mixed into the field, probably in an attempt to get that to rot a little bit. And I'm guessing they'll probably plant this towards the back end of the year. So we got 12, 13, 14 coins when we were out here a few weeks ago, including a lovely William III, or William II of Scotland, as he was also known. King Billy, King William, William of Orange, lots of different names. I think it dated from about 1692 or 96. So there's an ancient trackway which is just off to my left hand side. Still a road today, so I am hoping for good things. Let's see how we get on. Okay, we're out the hole. Somewhere here I'm a bit less positive. Oh, I can see a bit of green there. Well, it looks a bit different. It's a bit bronzy coppery looking, but it's definitely not a bit of aluminium. Let's see what we got. An ancient relic. It's a thing. It's a thing. Definitely a thing. Right, let's give it a wee rub, see if we can figure out what it might be. It is definitely a bit of copper. Copper what? I've no idea. It's a little fragment of something. Looks like it's been in the ground a while, but at least it's not a tin can or a ploughshare. So it's got a bit of age to it, but we've just got no idea what it is. But it's still junk. So, on to the next. My God, it's hot. It is hot. So, a very faint 85, 86 there. Didn't have high hopes. And we've got a little old bottle top. Still got a bit of glass in it. I'm reckoning this is probably the top off of a little whiskey bottle. Doesn't seem to have any advertising or decoration on it. I'm going to guess probably from the early 1900s, maybe the late 1850s. But that's it for now. Two signals here. I should have said at the start, I'm on my usual. I'm on my program. What is it called again? Program 3? Let me see. Yeah, program 3. Sensitive full tones, which I am using with the square tones. And I have got two signals here close by. So I've got one here, which is coming through 66 mid-tone. You can hear, despite the aeroplane flying overhead. So I'll dig that to have a look. And over here, somewhere, there, 84, 85. So you can see the difference in the tones. For me, that one there is the better tone by far. But let's give this a bash. This 65, 66, gold coin territory. Let's see what we get. Okay, so the 66 tone thankfully was in the first spadeful. Seems to be allegedly somewhere here. Is this on? It is on. Well, I thought it was in the first spadeful, but now there's a little bit of green, and that's it. It is a little clasp, I think. Possibly a little clog clasp, is it? Or maybe it's just a little bracket. Either way, it's copper alloy. Dropped it, shock horror. It's a copper alloy. Could be a clog clasp, I'm not sure. Wooden clogs, strangely, were worn by the farm workers, very common in the 16th, 17th and 18th centuries. I hate to think how it must have been like to walk in a ploughed field with wooden shoes on. But anyway, it's a thing. It's got a bit of age to it, a couple of rivets or a couple of fasteners on it. And yeah, who knows? Probably more than 100 years old anyway. But let's go and see what the other signal is, that 8485. I think I saw a little bit of silver or aluminium, something about here. As that flicked over. It looked pretty obvious, but now I don't see anything. Well, maybe I was imagining things. Certainly a nice sounding tone. Ah, I was in the wrong place. Where is it? There it is. Has something silvery looking. Oh, might be a bit of silver. I think it is. That is, I'm pretty sure, silver. But what is it? Maybe a bit of a brooch? It's got a couple of broken fixings on the back. Maybe that's where a pin would have been. Do we have any hallmarks? I don't see any. But they could have worn off. Or maybe they just didn't have any. Full stop. But that, I'm pretty certain, is silver. What do you reckon? Maybe part of a sort of Victorian or Georgian brooch. Almost looks like there's maybe a faint few letters or decoration coming through there. I'm not sure. Maybe it was just a plain sort of brooch. But that, I'm pretty sure, is silver. Definitely looks like silver. It's got that age to it. It's been in the ground for a while. So what do you know? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. But you could see the difference between a mid-tone in the 60s, which turned out just to be a piece of copper, and a high tone, which has turned out, I think, to be silver. So that is great. Let me know what you reckon in the comments. Albert's got a find. I know it doesn't look like much. It's pretty toasted, pretty corroded. Probably clean up a little bit with a hard brush, but for anyone who's already can tell what it is, it's, I think, a decorated horse brass. This is a sort of boss that would have been on the bridle, on the saddle of the big working horses. Would have been brass or highly polished, sort of coppery brass, goldy looking, silvery looking in appearance back in the day. But as you can see, it's been a long time in the field. Age wise, probably going to be pre-1900, 1800s I would guess. Maybe from the late Georgian into the Victorian era, when the big heavy horses used to pull the plough. So, still, it's a find. This one came through at the 60s, didn't sound great. Gave it a dig, or take a spade out, and it was right on the surface. There's a little thing, I don't know what that is. Again, looks like copper alloy. Any ideas? Unusual. But, ultimately, junk. Another lovely big high-pitched tone right here. 93, 94. It's not looking good, folks. It's right on the surface. That's why it came through such a strong tone. This could be pretty much anything. That was a clunk of metal, and that's it there. Trying to keep you out the wind, but not in the shade, if that makes any sense. I think we've got a buckle. Another buckle. It is a little buckle. Got a bit of iron corrosion on it. Yep. It's a sort of D-shaped buckle, probably from a horse fitting or harness. You can see the little notch just at the end where the pin would have been, and I suspect this little bit of sort of verdigris, this little bit of corrosion here, is probably part of the pin. Probably got pushed to the side and then rotted away. And date-wise, I'm going to guess 1800s into the beginning of the 1900s, but still, it's a find. Maybe not quite the sexy find that I was after, but hey ho, you got to dig 'em. Got myself a mid-tone here, 58, 57, 58. Maybe going to be, you know, a bit of lead or something. I don't expect anything particularly amazing. However, just went to the left and something caught my eye, and it was just about there, and I went like that and flicked it, and do you see just in the shadow of where I've actually put my spade, look at that. Do you see that right there? I saw that piece there and I thought, that doesn't look like a bit of straw sort of sticking up, and I kicked it, and I think it is a pipe, but it's possibly intact, and if it is, I've had a few of these, I think it is. Ha! Unbelievable. It's decorated as well. It is decorated. It's got something going on. People boxing or something, maybe. Ha! That is brilliant. That is brilliant. When I find these in these fields, you honestly wonder how in the hell that they survive, you know, being driven over and ploughed. But you get a lot of stems, you get a lot of fragments. You'll have no doubt seen them on some of my videos. Sometimes you can go out, you can find 3 or 4 or 5 pieces of the stem, which is this part here. And the bowl, sometimes you get fragments of bowl, but I have had, you know, in the last 12 months or so, I've probably had 3 intact ones. Right, I'm going to need to give this a rub up, and always worth looking out for these eyes only finds. This is tremendous. Over the moon with that. Let me get back to you in a second. Sometimes you don't always need a metal detector to find interesting stuff. Definitely worth keeping your eye open. So, what I thought was boxing. You can see that fella there with his hand raised. He looks like he's just about to get into a fight, but look in the middle. 1, 2, 3 little stumps. And you can just make out, let me zoom in a bit, you can just make out what looks like a bat. It's cricket. And look on this side, a man with a ball with 3 stumps and someone leaning on a bat. It is cricket. Huh. A sport that we almost don't play in Scotland. But we used to play it a little more often in the years gone by. Cricket, they believe, has its origins in England. It comes from a word called crick, which comes from an old English word crice, which means some sort of stump or bat. Crick became cricket, and its earliest recorded is back in the 1550s, but they do think it's probably a game that's been around since the medieval period, and you know, one of these games that may well have been around for almost thousands of years. Now this, I've left the soil in it because it's probably holding it together, but I can't see any cracks, and I'm guessing we're looking at sometime Victorian, I'm going to guess 1830s through to 1900, give or take. But as I said before, incredible that these survive. But to be fair, you probably find 50 pieces for every one sort of intact pipe that you get, but you can see they're pretty well made. Pretty solid bit of clay. And maybe it's just been lucky, this field, with it having straw in it, gives it a little bit of cushioning. But that's phenomenal. Cricket, who'd have thought it? Over the moon with that, really am. That is a tremendous find. And a great save, because you have to ask yourself how many more months or years would this have survived before it was completely lost forever. If anyone knows anything else about it, age or date, or even where it may have been manufactured, because I think certain manufacturers had certain designs, then let me know in the comments. But that is phenomenal. Absolutely blown away. That's such a beautiful thing. Well, here's the mid-tone that got me the pipe in the first place, and it looks like it's part of an old medicine bottle lid, because at the top it seems to say chemist, and below it looks like it says Chester. And yeah, so rubbish ultimately, but if it wasn't for this signal I probably would never have spotted the pipe. So over the moon with that, really great. I'm brought a smile to my face because it's such a lovely wee thing. Showed it to Albert as well, and he was pretty impressed by it. So tremendous, really love that little pipe, great. Just get a wee, just here, right there, I just got a wee 60, which was more foil. Just seems to be a lot of foil on this part of the field. But here, better signal. Coming through at a pretty solid 93, 92, 94. Let's pinpoint it a little bit. Doesn't seem to be massive, and it seems to be about there, so let's give it a go. Couple of spadefulls down, and it's sounding really good now that it's out. It's 95, 96, solid big non-ferrous bar, but could be a big bit of aluminium, I suppose. It's not a bit of aluminium. I think we've got a coin, and it might be a big Cartwheel penny because it looks pretty chunky. That is one Cartwheel penny. Look at the size of that. And just see the letter Rex, R-E-X, which is king. And on the other side, Britannia, seated. Get the bendy thumb on it. You can see the shield, the trident, the head, and the seated figure just there. So this is going to be made, or it's going to be stamped 1797, which is George III. Because these were only made for, well, they weren't only made for 1 year, they were actually made over several years, but they all carry the same date. You can see the big head there, the nose, and 111, Georgius III Rex, George III King. So they were all stamped 1797. This was called a Cartwheel penny because it was massive. Absolutely massive. They were deeply unpopular. You imagine having a pocket full of these, your trousers would be falling down. So they weren't made for very long, but they were made using new technology, a type of steam engine type press that was mass producing these coins. So, haven't had a Cartwheel for a while, a few months at least. So that's good. Over the moon with that. They never keep particularly well. Sometimes you get the odd letter, sometimes you just get a blank coin. But that one's got a bit of detail on it. Might clean up better at home. Great, first coin. I notice over here where I've got this George III coin, there's actually starting to see quite a lot of bits of pottery and glass on the surface. This one here's got a little bit of lettering on it, CO Limited. So I don't know what that will be. It's probably a water bottle or soft drink bottle. It's got a sort of aquamarine colour, maybe like a Schweppes type bottle. And probably going to be from the Victorian era, so a good sign that maybe we'll get a few finds. Maybe an old rubbish tip or somewhere people used to sit and have lunch and hopefully drop their coins. Very faint and very deep, came through in the mid-80s, and it's a great big chunk of lead, a big strip of lead, probably an off-cut from roofing lead I would think, but as I always say, a good sign. Let's keep on hunting. My God, that was a deep one. It was a bit dodgy, it was about 80. Faint to begin with. Got better as I went down. And, my God, 14 inches deep. Look at that. What do they call it? CCR? CCJ? I can't remember. Basically, a big lump of iron, huge lump of iron, that is very deep and gives off a reasonable signal. And that to me looks like a great big raker off of a furrow or a plough or whatever you want to call it. Farm machinery and junk. But in 20 plus degrees, not what you want to be digging through quite a hard clay soil to find. But anyway, on to the next. You get a dodgy signal there, which was in the high 80s, 85, 88, something like that, and you dig down for 3 or 4 minutes and you find a massive lump of iron, and then just next to it, just here, you get a faint 90, 89, 85, 93, 95. You don't want to dig it because it's just going to be another one of them. But you don't want to walk away, so you start to convince yourself it might be something good. So, right, the things I do for content, 94, let's give it a bash. Well, I'm down 8 inches, and the pinpoint probe is now picking it up somewhere about there. So I need to keep going, but at least it's hopefully within the next 3 or 4 inches. Don't be another bit of ploughshare. We're out at last in the last spadeful. The Garrett carrot, excuse me, that's my spade it's picking up. The Garrett carrot is 8 inches to the line there, and if you look at the hole, we are down another 4, so I reckon we're down 12 inches roughly. That last signal came out as, and the last spadeful went right here. We've got a clod, I think. Yep, I think we've got a clod. We have got a clod, right. We turn that pinpointer off. This is when I really need a tripod. Try and do this one-handed. Right, what do we have? Anything metally looking? Oh. No is the answer. No. Come on, open up. Oh, oh, oh. That, ladies and gents, looks like a coin. Silver. Massive. You beauty. Talk about ruining the shot. I dropped it. I dropped it. Too excited and I dropped it. You can see it's split open. There's the imprint there. There's the coin. I think we might have a wee George the Third. We don't have a George the Third. Gius the Seventh. George the Seventh. Bertie, the gold half sovereign man, appears again in big silver form. Let's tease that open. We have got a whopper. A crown. A crown or a half crown. Maybe a half crown. It doesn't look big enough to be a crown, but maybe they made them smaller then. Right, we have got a George the Seventh, and I've never had a crown of George the Seventh, or a half crown of George the Seventh. So either way, it's a win-win. Right, let me give this a wee wash off camera and get back to you. Another well done to the XP DEUS II. It wasn't an incredible sound. It was at depth. It improved once I took the top off, and we have got a cracker. It's another first. Never had one of these before. Edward VII, I think, for silver coins is quite rare. Don't think there were many made. He wasn't on the throne for long, 1901 to 1910. And we've got Edwardus, the V11, Edward VII, by the grace of God, King of the Britons. You can see his big bald head. I'll look into the right hand side, it's in pretty good nick. A few dinks on the edges. And that wasn't me. Fid Def Ind Imp, Defender of the Faith and Emperor of India. And then you can just make out the shield in the centre, the Lion of Scotland, The three lions of England, they always get double the mention, I tell you. And bottom left, you've got the harp of Hibernia, or Ireland, as it was known. And it is a half crown, not a crown. You can just see the letters HALF. And then the date, 1909, so 1 year before his death. And that is a whopper of a silver coin. Absolute whopper. I'm guessing that's going to be normally a crown, I'm sure, weighs about 28 grams of solid silver, so I'm guessing this is going to be 14, which would be half, given that it's a half crown. Now, completely forget what a crown was worth. You're all going to tell me in the comments. You don't exactly find them that often, so clearly it would have been worth a lot. This would have been a very upset person that lost this, because I hate to think how many pints of lager you could have bought in 1909 for a crown. I'm guessing 10 or 20, so I measure everything by alcohol. Edward VII, he was the son of Queen Victoria and her husband Prince Albert, their oldest surviving son, and he went on to become king, nicknamed Bertie, sometimes called Teddy as well, I think. And he was a bit of a playboy. 20 cigars, 40, 60 cigarettes a day, drinking, womanising, and paid the price. Died relatively young, in his mid to later half of his 60s, having waited 60 odd years for his mother to die so he could get the job. So there we go. Edward VII, you beauty, another first. Well done to the XP DEUS. Part 2. Have we got 2 coins on the bounce? We've got a solid 80, 81, 82 sort of number. Could be a coin, you know. Let's see what we get. Very shallow, probably just an inch or two. I could have almost kicked it out with my foot and done a live dig, but not seeing any obvious coin, and we don't have a coin. I think we've got a bit of copper pipe. We do. We have got a piece of copper pipe. Damn it. Damn it, damn it, damn it. You can see the seam down the side there. Ugh, that's a shame. Thought that was going to be another coin. Oh well. Signals keep on coming. This one, 76, 75, 78. Wouldn't say it's tremendous. See if it's any depth to it. Looks like there is a bit of depth to it. Soil's a bit softer here, not as much straw. Okay, we're going to have to get the old spade out on this one. Spade not actually required. I had literally just missed it by a millimetre. I think that is it there. I think we've got a bit of lead. Definitely feels like a bit of lead. It is a bit of lead. We've got a hole here, we've got a hole here, we've got a hole there. So we've got a hole in the middle as well. So we've got a weight of some description. Sure, someone will know exactly what that is. It's either going to, I think, be one of 2, well, maybe 3. We're not far away from a river, so it might be part of a fishing net, lead weight. So there would be a rope that would run side to side, and then this would hold an upright as well, so like almost like a T-piece on the net. The other thing it could be for rabbit netting, for snaring or catching rabbits, for hunting rabbits. And lastly, it could be a loom weight. So it could have been used in the weaving industry, or the milling of material or cloth. So answers on a postcard, what do you reckon? And date-wise, it's quite crudely made, so there's probably a bit of age to that. That could be several hundred years old. It could be even older than that. I mean, you know, weights are weights. They've not really changed very much in design from the Roman period 2,000 years ago. So it could be Roman, could be medieval, could be post-medieval, and it could be all the way through to maybe just a couple of hundred years ago. So let me know in the comments below. I'm still over the moon with my pipe. I don't play cricket. I hate cricket. I think it's one of the the strangest spectator sports. It's all right. It's all right to play, but to watch is crazy. But you know what? I think I'm going to take up smoking just so that I can try and use this. It's brilliant. Absolutely love it. Makes me laugh every time I look at it. A little game of cricket. Fantastic. Our wind is really picking up, so I'm doing my best to try and keep in the sun but stay out the wind, which is easier said than done. So this is Albert. I had a catch up with him. This is his best of the best. He's got silver as well. He's got George the Sixth, by the grace of God, King of the Britons, which is 1 shilling. So that's George with the stutter, the King's Speech, for anyone who's seen that. Date wise, it is 1931, so 50% silver, I do believe. Is it 1931? I'm not sure on that one actually. Yeah, I think it is. Is it 31? No, it can't be. He didn't start ruling until 36 or 38. So, not sure on that one. Maybe it's 1951 actually. Could be 51, in which case it's not silver at all. it's full of rubbish because we stopped silver coins in 1947. So, I take that back. So it's 1 shilling anyway. And he's got a button. He's got what looks like a copper turner. This one here, it's all corroded though, which is a 2p piece. Probably dates to the reign of Charles I, Charles II, so that puts it 1625 through to 1685. Maybe it'll clean up a little better if he's lucky. Bit of a sort of doorknob, bit of a winder, possibly from an oil lamp. Some people identified a little bit I found as maybe an oil lamp bit, but looks like some sort of winder maybe to control the wick. Then he's got a halfpenny, which is beyond recognition. We can just make out a bit of a head, which we think is Victoria, the bun head, so that'll probably put it in the 1830s, 1860s sort of era. And then this peculiar big lump, which is really... Oh, drop one of these things. This is a weird thing. This is like a... I don't know, it's almost like a bronze or something, but it's got these circles and circles within circles on it. Very heavy, and the other side's got circles on it as well. Maybe some ancient Pictish piece of art, or just a piece of a tractor that someone's been messing about with. Highlight of the finds for me are these 2 items, I would say. And the pipe wins for me, hands down. Just brings a little smile to my face. Really blown away with it. What I initially thought was a boxing match on this side is people playing cricket. And it's amazing. I mean, how that survived in a ploughed field for, 100 and more years, realistically. Just defies science. But miracles can clearly happen. And despite finding this huge Edward VII half crown, 1909 was it? Almost dropped this pipe, I don't know how many times. 1909, I think it. Yep, 1909, half a crown. First one I've ever found, but it is a beauty. First one, and it's massive, absolutely massive. But the pipe wins for me. If anyone knows anything else about that pipe, I'd be really interested to hear if you know of a maker or even a more accurate date. I was so fortunate as well that I've hit 6,900 subscribers. Things have been going excellently with the videos. The views are all doing really well too. So a huge thank you for everyone for all the support. I have to say as well, a huge thank you again to Regton for giving me this machine to put through its paces, to show people how good it is or isn't. The XP DEUS II, and I have to say, so far, really blown away with it. It's doing so well with me. It's so light, it's so easy to use, and the fact that it's wireless, the built-in programs are doing great things for me. I've not really done much in the way of playing about yet, but I'm hoping I'll get more time in the coming weeks. Now I'm probably going to be going away with work. I'm going down to Yorkshire, and then I'm going up through the Highlands into the Isle of Skye and so on. So I need to, I've got some time in the next day or so I'm going to shoot some more footage before I go away, and then I can hopefully drip feed that and do a few videos while I'm travelling around the country. So a huge thanks again for all the new subscribers, for all the positive support and comments, and for watching what I'm producing. So hugely thankful to everyone. So if you aren't already and you like what you see, give me a subscription, give me a like, turn on the notifications, and hopefully I'll see a lot of you in the coming days with some new footage. On the basis, of course, that I actually managed to find anything. But so far this field, it looks like it's got more to come. See you on the next dig.